Hello! Welcome, checking the mic. I had to set everything up again. I broke everything down for the holidays and I had to reset everything. So when I say hello, I'm looking at the mic. It looks okay. Hello, welcome. We're back. It's Monday. It's January the 2nd, probably, or 3rd. It's one of those. Early January. I thought today would be a good day to look back at the year that we had. Listen, I've still got the 2022 frame of mind. I still got my 2022 haircut for the moment. I'm ready. I'm ready to, bathe ourselves in the sweet, sweet juices of 2022 one last time. Just get a good baste going and rank all these games. Look back at what we did this year. What can we learn from this year? What do we like about this year? What do we despise about this year? It is funny. I think that I was talking to somebody the other day about the fact that, every year we've had for so long, for so many years, has been this is the worst year, dude. This is such a bad year. Since 2014, 2015. So today, I've decided, today the theme of the stream is hope. We're just going to put a lampshade on it right now. The theme of today's stream is hope. We're going to look back at the things that we enjoyed in the last year with optimism and happiness and positivity, and we're going to look forward to the next year with optimism. And I may have already said optimism. More importantly, we're going to rank all the games that we played this year. So this year on stream, this is the important business talk that we didn't do before. Hello, Rengoette, welcome! We're going to go through all the games we played on stream in 2022, some of which we did play in 2021, but I included them for completeness, and we're going to rank them all from S to D, I guess. I also have, I'll be candid with you, I wrote up an order of show, a list of an agenda, a list of things that we were going to do. I know vaguely what we're going to do, but there are several items that I never filled out in detail what we're going to do. So we're going to wing them, but that's okay. This is the end of the first section, which is initial remarks on my little piece of paper here. So we've had our initial remarks. Welcome. Weren't they remarkable? Let's go to the next part, which is... What is the next part? I want to look at our Steam replay for the year. So obviously we're going to look at all these games. The Steam replay is going to capture a lot of this, but I think it would be fun just to kind of warm up, to get a very high-level view of the year, to look at the Steam replay and get a sense of, broad strokes, what kind of stuff were we doing this year. So, let's go to that. We'll get to it, but... Microphone. Hey, there it is. What a horrible, horrible, horrible time. Robot says, me and Piotr are both missing out on all the good games that came out this year, like Immortality, Penitent, Signalis, whoops, spoiler for my recommendation, and Dwarf Fortress. Some of these I know. Muse put double down on your recommendation of Penitent. Signalis and Immortality I don't know very much about. Dwarf Fortress I've heard is real good. I think what we gotta do is... Rangoette, I think we got to make... This is going to get to one of the resolutions for this year. But I think we got to get a running, a thread in the Discord of just, I know we have a Game Rex channel, but we just need to be here's some games we gotta knock out this year. And do that, I don't know, maybe that's going to be totally redundant. But just so I have a list to work from, because... And My Teenage Exocolonist, I don't know this one either, but excited to check it out. In any case, what are we doing? We're doing the Steam replay. This year, you played a lot of games and unlocked quite a few achievements. Here are your highlights. Let's see. Don't change the size of the window, you bastard. Okay. Our most played game, oddly enough, Ringwood says Dwarf Fortress and Disco Elysium definitely seem like some ones. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking of. I just want to go through the games. So, we're going to get to it, because we're going to do a spoiler alert, talking of spoilers, we're going to do a New Year's resolutions section of this stream. One of my sections is to plan out better what we're going to play, and just give people something to look forward to. I've been, what is the word? Apprehensive about doing that in the past, because I don't want to say we're going to do something if I'm not 110% sure that we're going to be able to do it. But I think it's worth doing, just so people also know, what kind of the broader arc of the channel is going to be. Anyway, this year you played quite a few games, he said, paraphrasing this very short sentence, and unlocked a lot of achievements. Outer Wilds, oddly enough, our most played game. I think it's because we finished the game and then also played the DLC, which I have as separate items. Rengo says, more time in Outer Wilds than Hollow Knight. I love Hollow Knight, but I have no memory of you playing it. Everything at the end of time starts playing. Oh, is that the name of one of the tracks from Hollow Knight? Yeah, we'll talk about Hollow Knight. We'll talk about Outer Wilds. We'll talk about Hollow Knight. I got good thoughts about both of them. I'll be candid with you again. Second time I've said that already. Don't know why. I didn't prepare very much for the stream. A lot of this is going to be very off the cuff, except I practiced what I'm going to say in the shower this morning. I was like going through what I want to say about Elden Ring, so I think we're going to have extended Elden Ring thoughts, and everything else is going to be very unrehearsed. Anyway, we played 38 new games in one demo, but 49 games total. Rengo says, no, that's a song about having amnesia. It's pretty uneasy and scary. Oh, that actually is a terrifying thought to me. Just existentially, the idea of forgetting everything. Or like especially people who have anterograde amnesia and like don't remember new stuff and only have a short-term memory going forward. That's absolutely terrifying to me. Anyway, that's a total aside. The theme of the stream is hope. Let's stay hopeful. We unlocked 274 achievements. Does that make me a super huge gamer? I think the answer is yes. We played a lot of Talos Principle as well. Oddly enough, so all the time on the stream, just over and over, we play games like we played Don't Starve, and people are like, why are you playing with the controller instead of mouse and keyboard? And over I say, I want to play with a controller because I use my mouse and keyboard all day doing my job, and so I want to do something, different with my hands when I'm playing games. But oddly enough, we're actually more of the time we played with mouse and keyboard, apparently, than with controller. So maybe I'm just a big liar. I don't know. Rainbow says, yeah, that's the point of the song. It starts as classical music and distorts more and more till it's unrecognizable. The original is 8 hours long. I might have to check that out, actually. I'm going to write this down. Everything at the end of time. Okay. That actually sounds very interesting to me. Everything at the end. Unusually, I have a pad of paper here, which I usually don't have. Let me just knock the camera over. So I can take these kinds of notes. How you compare, stack your year against the rest of the Steam community. As you can see, the rest of the Steam community, did you finish Hollow Knight? We did. Yes, we got to the end screen. I was talking to my friend about it who loves Hollow Knight later, and they were like, no, dude, no, you didn't really finish it. You got it. There's more you're supposed to do. But, so yes and no. Yes, we got to the end credits or whatever. I think that I was supposed to do more. Nice. I know you definitely didn't get the true ending. That's what it is. Yeah. So we blew away everybody else, which I think just based on the broad number of games we played, 274 achievements. We played 49 games. This is actually very interesting to me that the Steam average is 5. I guess we're very, I'm a big weirdo on this channel. The way that I play games, honestly, even before Twitch, the way that I play games is very weird. I play a little bit of a lot of games, which is not, there's a lot of people who play 1 or 2 or 3 games a year. Whereas we apparently play, it's 49 plus there's some more, honestly, that we didn't play on stream. My longest streak was 5 days. We're below average here. This is also something we're going to come to, honestly, in the resolutions phase, is timing and scheduling. Remblet says the true ending is a little specific to get IMO, but it kind of gets away with it because you kind of have to explore everywhere to get it. Oh, I see. So is it like de facto kind of like 100% completion thing? Hopefully my mic is... I'm looking at my mic. I'm worried it's a little quiet. Usually the mic is hot, but I reset everything today. So it might be a little quieter than it's supposed to be. New releases. 30% of the games you played that were new releases. That sounds about right. We do a mix of old and new stuff. 17% of the games the average player on Steam played that were released during 2022. So we played more new stuff than most people, but 30% is pretty low. That sounds about right. The percentage of games you played that were released in the last 1 to 7 years was 62%. Again, sounds right. And 8% classic games. Now this, crucially... Oh no, it does add up to 100%. Interesting. Okay, so... Wow. Okay, so 30%... I hadn't looked at this yet. Ringo says, no, but you got to get to most zones to get most, if not all, of the power-ups. Ah, okay. All right. So you don't actually have to do 100% of stuff, though. That's kind of interesting. I didn't know this. 62%, 1 to 7 years. That sounds about right. We play older stuff. I buy a lot of stuff on sale. Honestly, that dictates a lot of what we play. And so things that are 1 to 7 years old are probably the things that are going on sale a lot. The kinds of games we play, we don't care about badges. I did write a review, apparently, which I don't remember. We got creature collector games. I can think of a few off the top of my head, like Monster Sanctuary. A good amount of Metroidvania. We also made a Metroidvania. Souls-like, aka every indie game that comes out anymore. Some steampunk, some deck building, of course, action roguelike. I mean, roguelike deck building is Piotr bait, obviously. Let's take a closer look at my top played games. You were really into Outer Wilds, apparently, but only for January and February. Redwood says the true ending for Hollow Knight involved killing every boss and then going through a boss rush of every single boss to do it. It was too repetitive and boring for me to do. I kind of get that. A boss rush, if the combat in a game is really, really good, maybe. Like in Hollow Knight is a game where I'd be like, maybe I'd do a boss rush, but I'd be split on it. We also played a lot of Hollow Knight. I guess we played that in May. That's kind of interesting to see. So in January, we were playing Outer Wilds. Then our next big game that we played a lot of was Hollow Knight. And our third one was Talos Principle, which we played in June. And Rego says the true ending is somewhat a reskin of the normal true ending. Ah, okay. Oh, and Tunic, of course, in March and April. I forgot about Tunic. We'll talk about Tunic. Scarlet Nexus, a game beloved by me, but not very good to stream. And your playtime by month. This is great. So one of the things that I want to talk about is kind of the state of the channel. And I think this is very telling that like we had a lot of playtime in the beginning of the year. I don't know why it dipped in April, honestly. Maybe we were playing something off of stream. We'll take a look at the tier list. But then like it's going down through the year and very low in the last part of the year. That's something we're going to talk about in a little bit. 48% of your playtime was with the controller. We heard this. And what says, but you do get to bitch slap the final boss in the true ending? That honestly could be worth it. Here's a bunch of games we played. We're going to see all these again in a second. I don't remember playing Lego Lord of the Rings. I don't think we played it on stream, but there you go. Thank you, Piotr Bizzle, for being a part of the Steam community. Don't forget to share your replay with your friends. Great, we've done it. Okay. We did the replay. We did it. The next thing on my list, that was the Steam replay. That's some of the high-level stuff. I would say my takeaways are deck building roguelikes, which I probably could have told you already, and Scarlet Nexus, Tunic, Talos Principle, Hollow Knight, and Outer Wilds were our like kind of big games. Rainbow says, wait, no, that's the normal true ending. Somebody else does it in the true ending. Oh, who could it be? Actually, okay, well, you're arousing my curiosity, but let's rank some games now. I've unfortunately done this in a way where we can't see some of the stuff on the side. And Rego says, I once saw a streamer mess up getting the true ending. Oh, like they got it on accident. It's pretty good. Okay, so this should be easy enough. We're, again, just to introduce the idea of Tiermaker in case somehow you don't know what it is. Tiermaker, we're going to rank all of these games from S tier all the way down to D tier. D tier obviously being the worst. Why is green bad? I don't know. That's just the convention. Let's start off real easy with a game that's going to be easy to rank. This is Minecraft. Minecraft, arguably one of my favorite games ever. Certainly the game I've put the most time into. We played Minecraft on the stream. We had our own server running, which was very fun, actually, compared to... I've only played, like, 2-player games of Minecraft in the past. In college, I did a lot of LAN games with just 2 players. And enjoyed that, but having like a running, a constantly running server where people could come in asynchronously and build stuff and play and, getting to come back and see what everybody had done while you were away was really, really interesting. I'm gonna put Minecraft at A tier though. Rabbit's like, you're supposed to clearly dream nail the final boss at some point and they just keep hitting the boss level. The server shut down last year. It did shut down. Oh, I also thought that, Rangoet. But what it was the server, I think, started up in like December, and we shut it down. I can't remember in like I think in like March, in like the first half of the year certainly, but went into it. I'm gonna put Minecraft at A tier though. I love this game still. It's one where like I've played so much Minecraft, I feel like, and I know it's very deep. If you want to get like really, really good at Minecraft, there's absolutely room to do that. But for me, now I just like to like come back and dip my toes into Minecraft for a little bit. Be like, oh yeah, Minecraft is pretty good still. And then go out and do other things and come back. Another game that we were that we were continuing from the last year from 2021 was Outer Wilds. We had started it in December, and we had a little bit more to finish up. Outer Wilds, okay, I gotta think about this, because we're gonna do Echoes of the Eye a little bit later, and I want to give these different rankings, I think. They're very close for me. Rainbow says, it was more effort than expected on the server. I don't think I've done an insane build like that before. I'm glad people have, I'm glad it pushed other people to do crazy stuff too. Obviously we had, to do stuff too. Obviously we had Noodles had some really insane, crazy builds too. Giant Spatula had some stuff in there. We built the pub. Man, oh man, oh man. So many good memories, actually. We'll come to that. Keep Minecraft, put a pin in Minecraft. We'll talk about Minecraft in a little bit. Outer Wilds, though, we talked about this last time. I'm going to put it in an A tier. It's possible that I put it in a B tier before. I didn't actually check the last stream because I didn't want to, poison my mind with memories of what we did before. But I'm going to put Outer Wilds in an A tier. For me, it's like a B plus for base Outer Wilds, but we're going to bump it up to A. And Rigwat says, yeah, Newts was a pro. Some of those builds were really, the train in the sky and stuff were very cool. Speaking of trains in the sky, I actually did not intend this, but flawless transition. The next game that we've got is Sunless Skies. So this was a game where we are flying around slowly as a sky train. Running around, trading, doing little choose-your-own-adventure type stuff. This game, I think, a very interesting game to me. I played a few long sessions of Sunless Seas, which was the previous game in the series. There's a lot of really deep lore. For me, this is a really cool game, but one that doesn't work very well on stream. There's too much reading, honestly. And just it's a hard game to step into in the middle of if we're 3 streams in and you're coming to the channel for the first time, you don't know what's going on in Sunless Skies, and it's not very intuitive either. But that being said, I really admire a lot about this game. The writing is fantastic. The lore is fantastic. It's kind of it's a game that effectively creates a lot of kind of nail-biting moments where we're running out of fuel and our boat is almost broken and we're trying to get back to a town, etc., etc. But I would put Sunless Skies at a B overall. It's very good at the specific things that it strives to be very good at. The gameplay is a little slow. You got to be in the right mood, in my opinion. And Rangoat says, as I said, we are slightly different here on Outer Wilds. I liked the main game more because it was freeing and non-linear, and the story came together better, and the DLC I felt as well, obviously not as open, had a lame final act in the dream world for me. So, first of all, yeah, I agree that, I think it's a matter of taste, whether you prefer, an Outer Wilds that's a little more open or a little more linear. I think it's not controversial that the DLC is much more linear than the main game. I will plus one though, the thing that you said, which is especially the ending of the DLC for me wasn't as strong as the ending of Outer Wilds main game. I remember, it was a long time ago that we played it, obviously, but I remember being like, oh, it's over? I wasn't even 100% sure that it had ended. Also, you didn't get the ending, though that doesn't seem too uncommon. I did go to the end of Outer Wilds, unless there's another ending. But we finished Outer Wilds twice, actually. We did it the first time, and then we did the DLC, and then we did it again, as I recall. Speaking of games that I don't remember, speaking of things that I don't remember very well, The Gunk. The Gunk. What is The Gunk? The Gunk is a game, my lord, about... I honestly struggle to remember this game. It's kind of a Metroidvania. You're running around sucking things up, I think. I was going to say spraying things, but I think it's actually the opposite. I think we're sucking things up. There's sort of a story, but it's not very strong. The Gunk for me is a C tier. The Gunk is if you're just when would I play The Gunk? If I'm just I just want to play something and turn my brain off for a little bit, honestly, maybe then The Gunk. Or if you're in an airport and your PC doesn't have internet, but you have The Gunk installed, maybe The Gunk. That would it would pass time in an airport. It passes the time. That's a hell of a weak recommendation. The Gunk is C tier. We played all the way through though. We did play it to the end. Ringo says the ending was weak, and I know the DLC is more linear, but those dreams parts were ridiculous. Oh, and Ringo says I meant like didn't quite understand the main game ending. Not you missed the end. Oh, I see what you mean. I didn't get the ending. I understand what you mean. Yeah, not I didn't get to the ending. Whatever. Right. Oh, here come two very similar games coming up. The first one is Going Under. Going Under is a game about being a little goblin person. This is half remembered, so forgive me if I get it wrong. Being a little goblin person doing roguelike things in a office, basically, that's like a startup. This is what happened when we played Going Under. We started to play Going Under, and I said on stream, is this just a worse version of Hades? And then we played Hades. So I'm going to put that at C tier, and we're going to take Hades and put Hades up. We're going to put it at A tier for now. We might bump Minecraft up to S tier. Hades was the game that we played instead of Going Under when I got bored of playing Going Under. Hades, obviously, we played last year as well. We played it, actually, I was looking at the YouTube videos to make this list. We played Hades a couple of times in the last year. We checked back, but we still haven't gotten really deep into it. Even just the other day, I was talking to one of my friends who was like, no, you got to put more time into Hades still before it really gets good, which I usually don't like as like a recommendation for a game. You know, I know there's a lot of JRPGs and stuff where people are like, no. Once you put 30 hours in, then it gets really good. But since the beginning of Hades was also good, maybe it's something we should go back to and look at a little bit more sometime. Ringo says, I do remember I explained it when you played the DLC. And Ringo says, not gonna lie, you're the only streamer I've seen who didn't cry at the Outer Wilds ending. That's surprising. I'm a crier. I'll cry at a sad thing. But I guess it didn't really... Yeah, maybe it's just because I didn't get it. Maybe I was just a little confused. Actually, this is a perfect... what is the word? Segue. Good lord, losing my mind. Because our next one is Outer Wilds, Echoes of the Eye. I'm going to put this at A tier too. For me, we already discussed this. Echoes of the Eye a little bit above Outer Wilds for me. I think it's just a matter of taste, which one you like better. They're both very good. I would strongly recommend both of them. But for me, Outer Wilds, Echoes of the Eye, a little more linear. It just was a little easier. Maybe it's just because I'm dumb. Maybe Echoes of the Eye is good for dumb people, but just a little easier to keep my head wrapped around everything that was happening. And for that reason, I think I enjoyed it a little more. Rainbow says, I assume the part where the main character gets pegged is the good part? In Hades? The cherry on top is that actually happens? Oh, man. Okay, we might need to check that out. Good lord. Spoilers. Pegging spoilers. Okay, let me just remember. I know when we're supposed to... Okay. I know when we're supposed to stop and, what game we're supposed to get to before we go back to do something else for a little bit. Before we take a break. But we're not there yet. So let's look at the next game, which is Against the Storm. So this was the roguelike city builder we played, where you balance a city of beavers, humans, and, like, lizards or dinosaurs or something. This game, I think we only played it once. It was in early access, I think, at the time that we played it. Noodle says, you ever finished Hades? I haven't finished it yet. I think we gotta play more of it. We only played, like, honestly, what did we do? We played up through, like, the Bone Hydra and fought him. I think we beat him one time, or we fought him a bunch of times or something. And I've gotten a lot of recommendations, or I shouldn't say a lot. I've gotten a recommendation that it's worth going back and pushing past that and doing more. And Robert says, well, that can happen. You either romance dominatrix boss or cute goth boy. I did not realize there were romance options in Hades. This is big for me. All right. Against the Storm. It's a city builder. It's a roguelike. I don't have a strong recollection of this one, but I do want to play more of it. I'm going to drop it at B tier for now. Or both. Wink, wink. Oh my god. Against the Storm, it's at B tier right now, but it's a game that I want to go back to. I don't really see this as like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like a condemnation of Against the Storm. It's just, we didn't get that much into it. It also might be another game that's not great to play on stream. But we should try it again. That's something, well, we'll talk about that too. Rainbow says the cute goth boy is very hot, I have to admit. That does help. That does help. Love good romance options in games. The next game is Nobody Saves the World. So, this game, this was one of the ones, so when I was looking back at the year, there were some games that I was like, I don't really know, like, I was just struggling to remember them as much. I was like, oh yeah, we played that this year, and Nobody Saves the World was on the list. It just didn't make a strong impression on me. It was a lot like a 2D Zelda game, but it felt not procedurally generated, I don't think, but just like it felt like more content, less carefully level designed than like a Zelda game, than like, you know, Zelda 1 or something. And so for me, Nobody Saves the World, I'm going to put it at C tier. It might be that the game gets really good. We only played it for like 90 minutes or 2 hours. Maybe it gets better later. But for me, I'm going to put that at C tier. That game is just Zelda, but like, not that good. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. That's probably a less wishy-washy way to say what I'm trying to get across. Doesn't look that good from what I've seen. Okay. Yeah, it didn't blow my mind. As it goes on. Oh, it doesn't get better. Okay, that's actually good to know. Then I don't regret setting it down. Our next game is John Wick Hex. This is also one that I thought we played last year, but apparently we played this year. This is what was it? A turn-based strategy game. You're John Wick. Every time you move, the enemies move. It was very hard. I remember we got to a point. No, I don't mean to put that at A tier. It was very hard. I remember we got to a point where we basically got stuck for a very long time and kept doing the mission over and over and finally got through. And as I recall, when we did finally get through the hard level, it felt more like a matter of chance than like, oh, we concocted a perfect strategy or something. And so that reason, I can't put it higher than B tier. It's between B and C for me, honestly, John Wick Hex. Ringo says, John Wick Hex was a great stream because the visuals were good, but it looked like it lacked variety. That's true. It does look good, and I like the replay at the end. That's a great feature of like a turn-based game. Being able to see everything that you did replayed in full motion at the end. Let's put it at a B. I'll put it at a B. If B gets real crowded later, obviously we're not using the ends of the scale right now. Rainbow says, also that part where you kept shooting the endless enemies at the door, that's a minus point for me, if enemies endlessly spawn. Good lord. Yeah, we maybe we'll move this around if we start shuffling things around to use more of these ends of the list. Jean Vic. But for now, we'll put him there. Okay, Scarlet Nexus. I confess, I love Scarlet Nexus. I think it's a really cool game. I think it is not a good game to play on stream. The story is bizarre and just, it's complicated, but it's hard to explain. It's like very obtuse and complex, but also like really the game is pretty simple, or the plot is pretty simple. The gameplay is great. I really like, there were a couple of hard fights where we had to like go and reformulate our strategy in order to get through. But ultimately, I put it down not because I didn't like it, but because it just wasn't a good game to stream. I'm going to put Scarlet Nexus at an A. We might bump that down to a B. Scarlet Nexus, you're on notice. You're like a B+. Robert says, it looked genuinely visually cool, but was wacky enough to not seem over-serious. It's generic, but it's convoluted. I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah, the plot is not like... convoluted is exactly the right word. For what was going on. And like, there were funny things. You're right that it was goofy, even though it played everything very straight-faced. Scarlet Nexus. Scarlet Nexus, I think of this year, that's like one of the games that I really am like, I think I want to go back and play more of that off stream, but I don't know. I don't know if I ever will. Who knows? Okay, Pathologic 2. So, devotees will recall that we played Pathologic 2 in 2021 on the Potato Computer, and the Potato Computer could not handle it. Either because the Potato was too slow, or because we were running Windows on a Mac and it was not having a good time with Pathologic. But this year we came back and we did it for real. And we played for one stream. As I recall, I think maybe we noped out after one stream because of some of the content stuff, honestly. I think there were some boobies, for instance. And I was like, oh, it's not bad for us to have boobies on stream, but like, it was a little weird. It's not really on brand for the channel. Rainbow says, Pathologic 2, you didn't get to what it was. Like, the intro is cool, but a long feed of an experience, if you get what I mean. But it doesn't seem like your kind of game. Maybe too pretentious and not fun for you. There was like, this is honestly another one that I'm like, maybe I want to go back to it at some point. I'm going to put Pathologic, I'm going to put it at B based on the intro, but I 100% believe that it gets better, like, later on. And that, like, we only saw, especially because the intro is so linear, and it seems like a game where you, like, want to wander around, and you want to iterate on it, and, like, yeah. I will put it at a B for now. But again, Scarlet Nexus and Pathologic 2, those could almost swap back and forth with each other. We got to use more of this. Let's do this. We're going to put 1 to a D. Going Under is going to a D. Minecraft is going to an S. That's what we're going to do, just so we're using the whole list. And we'll see if we can bump them out. The worst C tier and the best S tier, or the best A tier, will get bumped to the ends of the list. And that way we can have a nice bell curve, which is obviously a metric of success for this list. Rainbow says, I'd recommend going back because I'm biased, but it gets really brutal. Day 2 prices go up 10 times? I guess that's something where you are supposed to play the game more than once. And get good at that. And like know that something like that is coming. That is brutal though. Noodle says, Puzzle Genius, boobies. There are boobies. There were boobies in Pathologic 2. And I think honestly it wasn't just boobies. As I recall, there was a fully nude person. And I was like, it's not really on brand, but it's an interesting game. Things that are more on brand, perfect link. Myst. We played Myst this year. Technically it was the remake of Myst, not the OG, PowerPoint presentation one. I really liked this game. It was honestly, like, this is a weird thing to say about it, but Myst was the right length. Like, it was some good puzzles, but it didn't overstay its welcome. We got to make our weird choice at the end between, like, the different people in the books. Ribbit says, not really. Pathologic 2 is best first time. It's a game about continuing past everything despite the struggle and mistakes and indifference. Oh, I see. So you're not supposed to... I got you. So it's not, like, supposed to be a loop game. I'm supposed to just say, well, that sucks that the prices are 10 times now. I'm going to have to update my plans. I'm going to have to find a way to persist in spite of that. I kind of like that. Myst. Everybody knows Myst. We got to play the piano. We played that song from, my God, Undertale. It's S tier. Myst, it is S tier for me. I really did like it. Even, like, none of the puzzles were so hard that we got totally stuck. There was nothing that was like, oh no, I'm wrong. There was one puzzle that was so hard that we got stuck. But for the most part, the puzzles were pretty reasonable. Even if they were challenging. I really like that game. 9.5 out of 10. Perfect. Okay, next game. We're blasting ahead. Because I don't have much to say about Myst. Like everybody, Myst is good. It's not a controversial statement. It's a good game. It gets to be at the top. Everhood. Everhood is a game, I sort of remember this. This is one that I don't have as strong memories of. It was kind of like a rhythm game, bullet hell, something. Really cool style, really cool music, honestly, in this game. We didn't finish it, though. I think, in part, I don't know why I feel the need to justify why we didn't finish games, but I think one of the reasons we didn't finish Everhood was because it got so hard. It was like, okay, we're going to have to get really serious if we want to play through this game. And I don't think streams where, if there's anything that I learned from playing Fury, streams where I, like, just have to focus in and not talk and just, put 110% of my brain into, the mechanical task of getting through the game. It's not good content. I do enjoy those games. I'm going to put Everhood at a B, I think. It's possible it should be higher, but I don't remember because I don't remember the story very well. But based on what I recall, we're going to drop that at a B. Rangoet says, the game, this is Pathologic 2, strips you more and more of, as Sumatul puts it, quote-unquote, legitimate means of the survival, causing the player to steadily roam less and less ethical ground. Oh, okay, I like that. So you have to do more and more sketchy stuff as you get desperate. And Noodle says, it's an anti-Undertale of Everhood? Oh, interesting. I might need to look back at this game. I don't know if I want to play Undertale again. But look at this game and look at Undertale. I see why people would draw parallels between them based on kind of their style, the 2D pixel character, mostly a black background, moving around. I see the similarities, and I see maybe Everhood is trying to draw those on purpose. Rabbit says, as I said before, other games can let you do some bad stuff like robbery or murder, but it's unnecessary, while Pathologic 2 kind of forces you into doing it. That's kind of cool. That is kind of a cool angle. I like the idea of, yeah, it's because, listen, we're playing Bioshock right now on stream. Bioshock's the last game we're going to rank, by the way, I think. Or the second to last, something like that. And there's moral choices in that game, but they're very manufactured, right? And it's very much just like, hey, you, the player, do you want to be a good guy or do you want to be a bad guy? It's up to you. And so I like the idea that Pathologic 2 maybe forces your hand a little bit. And Red says, anyway, that's my Pathologic 2 ramble. Also, will say, I think the booba you saw is the only booba in the game, but the step girls don't wear much in general. Ah, okay. So maybe we hit the worst of it already. Okay, this is gonna be, okay. Well, let's just do it. So when I was making this list, I was like, do we include, let me start this over. One of the things we did this year is we made 4 games, which is kind of a lot of games to make in various game jams. And I was like, should we include those on this list? Because if we're being candid, all the games we made are D tier. They're not as good as any of the games that we played, obviously, except for Cake King 2. But I wanted to include them mostly because I wanted to talk about them. We'll just jam them all down to D tier probably. But this next game is the Elemental Bastille. So this is a game that we made for the Metroidvania month game jam, I think in February to March. And the theme was alchemy, and so we had this idea to make a game where you are a little, that's not supposed to go there, you're a little alchemist guy and you throw potions that change materials into other materials. You turn wood into stone, you turn lead into gold, things like that. And the physical properties of those materials matter. So like stone sinks and wood floats in water. Or, you know, you get the ability to turn copper to tin and then tin to air. So if you see a copper wall, you can do those 2 transitions to make the wall go away because it's air now and you can walk through it. This game, I've mentioned this before during, I think, the other Metroidvania game that we made, which will be, I think that's our actual last game. But this, just pulling back the curtain a little bit, this is a game that I made at the same time as I was doing a bunch of job interviews where I was having to program and explain what I was programming to people over video calls. And then I would sit down to do a stream where I would program and explain what I was programming on video. And I was like, I've been doing this all day. I don't want to do this again. So I do think that the Elemental Bastille didn't get as much love as it probably should have gotten, especially for 30 days. This is one where we also went back and redid the movement controls because they were just garbage, too slow, too janky, too floaty, too just unplayable. They're not great still, but they're much better than they were. Elemental Bastille is S tier. You're right. Ringo says, although I remember you said Pathologic 2 had intense language like Bastard and Fuck a lot, and it obviously still has a lot of language. It's a Russian game, so I see. Noodle says, is Noida here? It's not, but I'm going to write that down because I've seen that game played before, and it looked interesting, and we should play it. But I have not actually played it yet. Okay, the Elemental Bastille is S tier. You're right, Rangoed. You know what? Let's have some self-esteem. S tier game, the Elemental Bastille. Actually, interestingly, the Elemental Bastille, compared to other games that we made, has like some SEO or something, because people have like found the Elemental Bastille and commented on it, or like added it to their little lists of games on itch and stuff. So somebody's playing random people have played the Elemental Bastille, whereas I think 0 random people have played, for instance, Cake King. Otherwise, the Sweetway is so good though. I don't think it deserves a D at all. And Ringo says, Noida looks good. Well, I have thoughts about Sweetway. I do have, there's a few games on here that I have extended thoughts about. I think because we just did Sweetway, I have extended thoughts about that too. We'll get to that at the end. Ringo says, that name I came up with, way too pretentious for it. I think it's a good name though. I mean, talking about SEO, I think like people, because I think the way that people found this game is they're like, really eye-catching name. Agreed. I think people are sorting by Metroidvania. Yeah, I think it's just because itch.io and Metroidvanias are popular. But I do think that name, the Elemental Bastille, jumps out of the list at people. I do think it's actually really, compared to the titles of some of our other games, I think it's a really excellent title. Genuinely. Okay, next game, City Skylines. We played this last year. We play this sometimes with my friend Sam, who is like a City Skylines expert. We should play with him again sometime. We should do that in 2023. City Skylines is great. If you want to just make a city, it seems like the ideal game to do it in. We're going to put it in an A. And Ringo says, yeah, it's eye-catching. Yeah, I do think it really stands out of the list. I think also, okay, we're going to go back because I'm so vain. I love to talk about things that we made. The Elemental Bastille, I think the concept gets across really easily. It's like, this is a game, it's alchemy, you change materials into other materials. It's like, okay, I got it. Like, I think that compared to some of the things we've made where it's less obvious what the hell you're doing, like in Cake King or whatever, I think that the Elemental Bastille gets its idea across very successfully. Okay. Oh my god, we got a lot to do, actually. Neil says name titles: Fruit Adventure, Stonehop, Elemental Bastille of the Unglossed Glossary, Hermit Crabs. These are all winners. We should make a game called Hermit Crabs. I'm gonna write that down. I don't know what it is, but, you know, just being crabs who are hermits. We'll make a survival game. That would be funny. Make like a Don't Starve style survival game called Hermit Crabs, where it's just like you're a crab. It's a ripoff of Don't Starve, but you're a crab. Okay, next game is Transistor. So Transistor, we've played a lot of Supergiant games. We love them. Transistor, of the ones that we've played, I think was the worst. But I did play all the way through. There were parts that I liked about it. The thing that I didn't like is, as I remember, we kind of didn't switch up our strategy the whole game. For me, Transistor is C tier. I suspect that it's one that would go to B tier if you were like reading all the story text and stuff, which honestly we did skip past a lot of that. And so like I get that maybe we weren't really getting the full experience, but for me, Transistor at a C tier. It's between a B and a C, honestly. Rangbat says, and it's a hermit who is also a hermit crab. Has a killer theme and hot fucking protagonist though. Oh yeah! When you say a killer theme, do you mean like a killer song? Like music theme, right? And a hot protagonist? Yeah, I'm just gonna write next to the word hermit crabs, I'm gonna write the word hot. So we remember that he also needs to be hot, the hermit crab. Talking of hot people, perfect segue. The next game, we played the demo of Mask of the Rose. And Noodle says, I've always had the idea of where your robot has to build themselves up from scraps in a post-apocalyptic future and protect yourself from other scavengers. That sounds cool. Okay, timeout. Little Piotr Bizzle history. Before Piotr Bizzle was Piotr Bizzle, when he was just a little boy, only 22 or 23 years old, in my year out of college, I first graduated from college, I wasn't going to start, well, no, that's not true. This is the lie that I tell people during job interviews, but the real truth is, I didn't have a job yet when I graduated college, and it took me through the summer to find a job that I wanted to do. And during that summer, more than that, it took me through like November of that year to find the job that I wanted to do. But during that time, I made a game in Flash, Adobe Flash. You remember Flash? Everything on the internet used to be made with Flash. Not anymore though. But it was about being a spaceship, and you like design your spaceship on a little grid, and you can you like capture parts of other spaceships, and then you can build out your ship. It's hard to explain. I spent way too long on it, and I did sell the game, technically. But man, oh man, for you know, dollars per hour worked, it was not a good way to make a living. Maybe we should play that sometime. Ringo says music theme, yeah. And Ringo says I meant Transistor, lol. The gameplay sucks, but the story is amazing in Transistor, and it has a killer theme and hot fucking protagonist. The protagonist is hot, that is correct. And the sword, too. I meant Transistor, lol, but yeah, we can do that for Hermit Crab, though. Hermit Crab is just a Transistor remake, but you're a Hermit Crab. I know says, you know that game where you're a small vehicle who can destroy other cars and take their parts, voxel style? I don't know that one. I'm not sure. Similar idea, though. Similar idea. If we ever, maybe I'll find a way we can play the game that I made in 2014, I guess. It's very much of its time. We'll see. Anyway, talking of hot protagonists, Mask of the Rose is an adventure game, visual novel, dating sim, something in the same universe as Sunless Skies, which we put at a B tier. We just played the demo of this. I don't remember it that well, but I remember at the end we were like, let's play more Mask of the Rose. So we're going to put it at a B it seems that it didn't make that big of an impression on me, but I love a visual novel / dating sim. Didn't we have to like collect love stories or something? It was too long ago. I should have prepared for this better, but I didn't. So Mask of the Rose gets B, and that's on me. Next game. Next game is Abduction. Abduction is a lot like the remake of Myst. I liked it a little bit less. And you know what? I'm going to blame it on one thing. It's not going to be S tier for me. I blame it on the fact that the story was more complicated, and we just didn't. That's going to be the story. That's going to be what I say about a lot of these, right? That we didn't really embrace the story as much as we should have. Any game where they just put a wall of text at you and are like, "Hey, here's the story. You should read this." I'm not going to read a huge wall of text. I'm not going to do that. And Abduction is very guilty of that. Pages and pages and pages of text. But some good puzzles. But one bad puzzle where they trolled me into memorizing a really long password, and then it didn't matter. There was no reason to do it. It's an A tier. It's an A tier game. It's very good, but I have some gripes. Excuse me. Redgut says, Noodles, I had a similar idea. Not just scavengers, but creatures. You are, too, and you are made of blocks and get more blocks that naturally protect you more, because you get stuff knocked off instead of you, but you are slower and you can do interesting stuff like use grappling hook blocks, ones that shoot other blocks, self-shooting blocks, mines on some blocks, remote control blocks that can connect with other blocks. We could, we'll think about. Well, I'm just going to file that away. I'm going to file that away, that there's an interest in games of kind of building a modular robot. Because I also have interest in making a game where we build a modular robot. I'm going to file that one away. What's next on our list? We're almost at our first break. I promise we're gonna have a quick change of pace in just a second. And Redgut says, but it's all physics in working, a la Rain World or something. It's tough. It's tough to... So one of the things... We'll talk about this later. One of the things I learned from the game jams this year is, like... don't use Unity physics for gameplay. Use it for, like, presentation or, like, effects and stuff. But for me, in the kinds of games we were making, it was too much trouble. That might just be a Unity thing. It might be the kinds of games we were making are not a good fit for Unity physics engines. But I think making a game with all physics stuff is very challenging. And Redgut says, which I think will be good for how the blocks work. I can see what you... So things like grappling hooks and stuff, you would want, like, real physics. I do kind of get that. All right. Let's go to our next game. The next game is Conan Chop Chop. This is a game that I thought was going to come out in 2020. And this is true. Here's our fun pandemic thing. This was supposed to come out right before the pandemic started in 2020. And it didn't come out. And so I remember I had planned to have an event at work where I was going to like play this game with other people on one of the big, monitors in one of the meeting rooms at my work. But we couldn't play it because it didn't come out. And we were like, well, when it does come out, then we'll play it here. Little did we know that A, there would be a world-changing pandemic and we wouldn't go back into the office for like over a year. Over a year? Maybe like a year. And the second thing we didn't know is that Conan Chop Chop wouldn't come out for like 2 years. So it was a scuffed idea from the outset. Conan the Chop Chop is a C or a D. Let's put it at a D. I love Conan the Barbarian. I really do. It's dumb, but I love it. But this game is a D tier. I feel bad. I have a lot of affection for this game, but I gotta be real. Renguat says, yeah, I didn't care how easy that game would be, but it was an idle idea. Oh, yeah, no. Dream big. I don't think for something like that you need to worry about that kind of nitty-gritty implementation. Also, like the core thing of blocks falling off you and being attacked. Right, I get you. Oh, we should play... We'll put it in this year. We're gonna play... We're gonna play Shipwright this year, which is the game I made, and it's gonna be very embarrassing for me because it's not very good, and it looks ugly. When I looked back at it, I was like, ugh, this game is so ugly. But we'll take a look at it. Otherwise, I can't believe The Good Life was this year. Yeah, The Good Life. The Good Life is a funny one because we played this. The Good Life S tier. We might. The Good Life is a game we played like 3 different times. We like played The Good Life and we were like, that's enough Good Life for now. We got to do something else. And I was like, should we play The Good Life again for like 1 week? And then there was like months go by after that. and then we finally finished The Good Life. The Good Life S tier. I love this game. It's so weird and so janky, and there's so many mechanics that just don't seem to matter very much. And Musewit says it has to be S tier, lol, lobster! Yeah, it is S tier. What I'm trying to say is, in my roundabout, typically verbose way, is I'm glad we played to the end of The Good Life, because the ending was really strong. Honestly, it was one of the best parts of that game. Rega says the Good Life is this year's Revelations, even though we literally played Revelations 2. It was better than Revelations, though. That is the same genre of just like every time something happens in the story, it's like, what the what? Why? What? Who is that? Why is that happening? What? Yeah. The Good Life, it's S tier. It's S tier. Put it at the S tier. It's an S tier game. Okay. One more game before we take a break and do something else for a little bit. Elden Ring. Elden Ring is everybody's game of the year. People love this game. And honestly, you're gonna think that I'm lying, but I get it. I get why it's everybody's game of the year. What is there is very high quality. It's not my game of the year. I did not have a fun time playing Elden Ring. Why did I not have a fun time playing Elden Ring? I think that this game for me... Okay, so Elden Ring, ready? These are my extended thoughts from this morning when I was getting ready for the day, thinking about Elden Ring. Elden Ring is hard in 3 ways. Probably more, but at least 3. One of the ways is in the moment-to-moment gameplay, right? When you're in combat, it's tricky, and your timing has to be really good, and if you mess up, it's very punishing, right? You can take 2 or 3 hits maybe, and then you're done, right? And if you've taken 2 hits, you've got to like find an opening to chug your potion or whatever. And so very, very challenging. And I love that kind of challenge. Really, really. Again, we mentioned Fury before, but like playing Fury, playing some other tricky games we've done, Devil May Cry. We played the DMC, the Mexican Dante one, last year. But I love that kind of moment-to-moment difficulty. Ringo says, and on it, The Good Life was so bad it's good, but also had some genuinely good funny writing. And it blurs the line between genuine and ironically funny writing. I agree. I think The Good Life it's not like totally unself-aware. Although some of it is. There's some good tongue-in-cheek stuff too. Ringo says, Elden Ring overrated, and some fans are annoying AF and act like children if it's not your favorite game. Okay. Elden Ring, right. Elden Ring, second way it's difficult is it's very obtuse, just in its basic mechanics. We almost skipped the tutorial on accident when we were playing it. You can easily not easily maybe, but it's possible to accidentally miss getting the map at the beginning. Things like that I don't really enjoy. I get it. I get why it's in the spirit of like this in Dark Souls. It's kind of like playing along with a friend who's trolling you a little bit. Like if you were playing Dungeons and Dragons and your friend was the DM and they kept trolling you and making everything not go your way. That can be fun, and it's kind of the spirit of Elden Ring. For me, things that are just like you won't even tell me how this game works, I don't like. Neil says, I still think it deserved GOTY given there weren't any other good releases this year. I could see that. I mean, I'm looking at the games we played, but we didn't play a lot of the top contenders. I guess the other contender was God of War. I didn't play that, though, so I can't really speak to that. The third way Elden Ring is hard is the thing that makes me crazy. Okay, so like the mechanical stuff is annoying, but you can look it up. You could look it all up. You could get a guide or something to get you through the first areas of the game, and it would like teach you everything you need to know. I assume. I didn't do that, but I assume that's the case. The third way that Elden Ring is hard, though, is the same way that Don't Starve is hard. Don't Starve is a game I have very mixed feelings about. Both of these games, you're in the most danger anytime you're up against something you've never seen before. And these are games that really punish ignorance. If you don't know something, the game is going to whip your butt about it. And so my experience playing Elden Ring was a lot of trial and error. And a lot of and maybe if you get used to it, you learn to spot, oh, there's a guy who's going to jump out from behind a secret place and kill me when I walk up here. Oh, I have to be, this looks like just one guy, but I've got to be careful because if I, aggro him, I'm going to aggro 10 other guys or whatever. But it really felt like there was a lot of kind of tricks where it was like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen and now I got killed. That feels pretty bad. Elden Ring is a C tier game for me. Yeah. I don't want to play it anymore. Ringo says,
Noodles, hey, okay, so I started the stream like this. Right at the end of the year, I heard about a bunch of cool games that came out this year, like Norco, Immortality, Signalis, Teenage Exocolonist, Penitent, and Dwarf Fortress Steam release. Some of those we do gotta get to. Elden Ring. If you love Elden Ring, you'll love Dragon Slayer, the old arcade game. That's the meanest thing I can say about Elden Ring. Let's take a pause there. Let's take a pause because I have my little show runner script here. And I can see clearly that at this point we're supposed to talk about the state of the channel. Oh, I didn't plan this at all, so this might be really short or terrible. Let's go to paint real quick. Let's talk about the state of the channel. Let's not make that pink though, as delightful as that is. I want to talk about the state of this channel on Twitch, the Piotr Bizzle Twitch channel, because we gotta get our house in order. Rango says, Elden Ring was the only game I played that came out this year, but I think some of the others that might have beat it for me. Oh, okay, I got you. So there are other games that if you had played them that came out this year, might have beat it. State of the channel. Listen, we've been real inconsistent. We've been real inconsistent. I don't know if we need to type this. Is this a mistake to try to type this? Let's just talk. Let's just have a chat. We don't need to write anything for this. Noodle says, which God of War Ragnarok in retrospect was disappointed? Oh, and Noodle says the Elden Rings would call it Elden Sweet because it's Goaty and not God of War Ragnarok. And Rego says, oh, in a Cosmo D game with murder at a nightclub something came out. Is that the one we played? No, that's not the one we played. There was like the shooting one that was from a game jam or something. I'm thinking of something else. We've been real inconsistent and not streaming as much in the last couple of months. And if you look at, I didn't take a screenshot of it, but if you look at like the metrics, we have streamed less and less often. There are more and more days where we didn't stream at all. And I think that's something that needs to be fixed. One thing that I learned from that, which is good, is that doing fewer streams per week, I think is better. We get more people in chat. I don't know if it's better for making a living on Twitch or something, but we're not doing that anyway. But it's better we get better chat, we get better, more people in. Rainbow says, you didn't play Cosmo D. I recently did with Off Peak. It's free and 1 hour long. Okay, Off Peak. Put it in. Put it on the list. Anyway, I think what we gotta do with this channel is, it's clear to me that I'm not gonna be able to stream every day when the world is not enveloped in a global pandemic. It's just not going to be realistic. But we need to have regular hours and a regular schedule for the stream, so people know when to show up, and so we can, we can just get through games consistently and stuff. Rainbow says, imagine a bit wacky style like Jazz Punk, but instead of funny dumb stuff, this is Off Peak. It's deep and meaningful, though surreal and a fever dream. Maybe I might have seen somebody do a YouTube Let's Play of Off Peak. Maybe. I'll have to take a look at it. Anyway, so that's one of the goals for this year, is we're gonna come up with a better calendar that's gonna try to do all the things that we want to do on the stream, which is gonna be a mix of playing through full games and doing, some kind of potpourri, little indie games and stuff. I still want to keep that going, but I need to think more about the calendar still. Ideally, we'd have had like a reveal here where it's like, here's what the schedule's going to be, but I don't have that yet. And I think I'm going to probably source some feedback in the Discord too before I try to lock any of that in. Yeah, that's something we need to fix. There's also just a lot of the channel that has been really neglected. Things like the community rewards are very out of date. There's only so many times we can redeem the bear joke and still have it be funny. Those are obviously going to need a refresh. And I think the other thing is, this year we did 4 Game Jam games, and that was really cool and exciting. They weren't all successful content. They're particularly game jams that are a month long. It's too long. It's too long to keep people's enthusiasm and interest going. And it's also just too long to keep kind of a coherent thread of like what we're doing in the Discord. And so I think it makes it difficult for people to follow along. It makes it difficult for people to contribute, which is honestly what I want. Like the best game jam we did in terms of like how it went, in my opinion, was Cake King 2. Rainbow says, yeah, and probably exhausting for you. To do 30 days, it kind of was. I'll be real with you. Cake King 2 was great. We did 3 days. We took lots of art and lots of writing and stuff from the community. And so I think going forward, I do want to do a lot of game jams still. Probably 4 is probably like a good number. And Ringo says, but granted, I wasn't there for the last game. It was like that. It just, you'll have to take my word on it. It didn't go as well as I wanted in terms of like kind of community development. So we're going to probably, I think 4 is a good number of game jams to shoot for. They're going to be short. They're going to be like 3 day, 5 days even, maybe not. They're not going to be more than a week long, the game jams. And we're going to try to focus on building kinds of games that are easy for people to work on communally. Rainbow says Cake King 2 is kind of fun, but annoying, obviously, for me, because it's hard to know what you wanted. That's the other thing we got to do. That's a very good point, is just plan out better. I think the game jams need more planning going in to say, like, to be able to kind of cut off tasks in a way that is understandable and actionable for people in the community. Because that's what I want, ultimately. I love the idea of having a game that, like, we all crowd on, and kind of all work on together. And I like the idea of being able to go on itch and seeing a game and being like, oh, look, there's the fish. I drew the fish in this game. Look at that. I think is a really charming and a wonderful thing, and the kind of thing that I want to do on this channel. We'll have to think about it a little bit more. In terms of what we can say right now, I would say expect shorter, not a 30-day game jam again. Shorter stuff that is going to be hopefully easier to contribute to, or more clear how you can do that. But I can say personally for me, it's understanding the writing a bit. Yeah, tone, I mean, that's a good point, honestly. Maybe we'll need like a style guide or something. I mean, for the visuals in the pumpkin game, we did like a palette for people to draw from. Maybe we need something like a palette for the writing too, just like a style guide, or like, hey, this is the kind of tone that we want. It's something I need to think more about. It's something that I'm going to invest in before we do another game jam. But we will do another game jam, and I hope you're looking forward to it, because I am too. Anything else we want to say about the state of the channel? We need to get a calendar. We need to refresh the community goals. We need to do more game jams, but be better about it. Rainbow says the pumpkin game was far simpler, though. Yeah, the pumpkin game, that's kind of a problem with the pumpkin game, though, too, right? Because it, like, didn't have very much content, and so that made it hard to contribute to. I think, again, Cake King having all these characters and all these items and stuff, there was a lot of stuff that people could go on. Rainbow says, will we ever have a different mood for game jam games? We did a little bit in the last game jam, but I think that's a good goal. The last game jam, at least visually, was very different from anything else that we did. But we should experiment. Anyway, anything else I need to say about the channel? There's some more stuff, but we'll get to it. That's the state of the channel. State of the channel is we're not playing enough. We're not playing consistently enough. Game jams need more thought about how we're going to do them. Good. Nailed it. Should have written that down. Should have practiced that. Rabbit says, oh yeah, I wasn't there though. Visually, it looks good. Oh, thank you. It's a style. I like that it stands out. There wasn't another game in the game jam that looked anything like that. And to me, that was kind of a win. Let me drink some water. I'm super thirsty. Okay, more. What? We're not here to ramble on. We are here to ramble on. Ringo says, I would have liked to do writing for it. Noir stuff is cool. Okay, we'll talk about noir stuff too. I have extended noir thoughts too. We'll just do it now. I loved doing noir as a Metroidvania also, because I think there's a real synergy between, like in a Metroidvania, you got the run of a little bit of the map, and you find more and more tools, and the map kind of opens up, and you can go to more and more places and see more and more and get a bigger and bigger picture of it. And it's a lot like a noir story, where like your detective comes in, or whoever, and we only know a little bit at the beginning, and then as we learn more clues and stuff, we find out maybe the initial case the detective was brought in is just a little piece of a much bigger picture, and you learn more clues and you find out more and more about what's going on, and like those two things work really well together, I think. So it was very exciting to do noir in the context of Metroidvania. Anyway. Unwiser says, are you open to coding collab on game jams, or do you prefer not adding that complication to the process? That's an interesting idea. I honestly had not really thought about how to do that, but I would be open to it. I mean, we have a GitHub. It could be done. It could be done. Let me think about that. I'm going to make a note about that, because actually, that's something I hadn't considered at all. But it's a good idea. And I know that some people who watch this channel do write some code. And so it's a way that also it can make other parts of the game go faster. It would probably mean I would have to write better code. One of the joys of the game jam is just writing terrible code. But it could be done. Ringo says, I didn't see much of it. I need to watch a game jam VOD of it. We'll talk about it more. It's something that I want to go back to. I mean, the same way that we went back and fixed up, Elemental Bastille. There's a lot that I want to go and fix up in sweet way. Anyway, ranking more games. That's why we're here. We're ranking all the games of the year. What time is it? Time check? Okay, we're going to go over time. Great. Prince of Persia, The Forgotten Sands is a C tier. It's a D tier. It's a C tier game. Very forgettable. It's technically a Prince of Persia game. There's a part where you jump around on an astrolabe. That's kind of cool. The combat is just nothing. It's just nothing. The combat is just like press buttons and wait for time to pass. But yeah, C tier. Robert says, that's a good way of thinking of it, but to add a bit of depth, may I also try and think about people in the case and their personal goals and feelings about stuff, especially what they want out of it. It's instead of a simple, I think there's more coming. You should check out the game. I do think that is something that we tried for. Pronk. Yeah, it's the Pronk of Portia. The Pronk of Porcelain. He was fine. It was fine. It's a game. It's kind of like, what was the other one on this list? The Gunk, where it's just like, this is a video game. You can play this if you want. If you don't have anything else to play, you can play Prince of Persia, Forgotten Sands. It's fine. Tunic. Tunic is a really interesting game. I got very salty fighting one of the bosses. Oh, Ringo says, yeah, sorry, I was just responding to what you said. No worries. Tunic. Tunic is an A tier game. It's very interesting. I think that, what do I think about Tunic? I love the idea of like replaying the experience of having a game manual in a language you don't understand. I think it's I think it was a really genius idea. And very well executed. You know Tunic is good. You don't need me to tell you why Tunic is good. Paradise Killer. We played the beginning of Paradise Killer. This was also one that was tough to stream because it was a lot of reading. I was interested in it. I'll be real with you. I don't really remember this game that well. I remember that we accidentally guessed some plot point, and it ended up being a spoiler. So I would say don't watch the VOD because it contains accidental spoilers. But and we triggered like a whole dialogue where somebody's like, yes, you figured it out. Da 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 da. Here's all the details. And we're like, oh, we didn't really figure it out. I'm just dumb. Let's put this in a C tier. Automod tried to ban this message, but the word queer is fine to me. Remember, so that game's style is great and gives me big queer vibes. The style is very cool. That is true. It's like between a C. Okay, here's the thing. Here's what I'm thinking. If Mask of the Rose is a B, how can Paradise Killer be a C? Paradise Killer, they're like the same to me. Put it at B for now. Both of these games are on notice. They might go down to C tier. Speaking of C tier, actually no, it's going to be lower. An Airport for Aliens, currently run by dogs. This game, man, it's very wacky, and there's cute dogs, and that's the end of what I can recommend about it. Don't play an Airport for Aliens currently run by dogs. I'm sorry. I know some people will really love it because they love dogs, and it's goofy, lol, so random humor. And Ringo says, wait, that word is banned? That's it, I'm calling Automod homophobic? I think that's fair. It seems like not the word that should be banned. But yeah. We'll allow it. It's allowed on this channel. Anyway, an Airport for Aliens currently run by dogs, or D tier. Disappointing. Ringwood says, worst take this stream. I didn't, it's not really my sense of humor. And there's a lot of just like, here's a huge open space with nothing in it. Run all the way over to the other side to talk to somebody. I couldn't finish it. Sable is our next game. Sable, somebody I think during the stream described it as, said it was a lot like Breath of the Wild, but without as much to do. It's an open world game. You can run around and do some not very interesting platforming. I noticed that I'm calling this mop sexist because I have to do a certain motion to make it spin dry. Oh my god, I know the motion. Sable is just, I didn't get into it. It's a C tier for me. Some people really like Sable. The art style is really interesting. The shaders are really interesting. The map is big and empty, and you do some very simple platforming. Didn't do it for me. Remember says we should play the other game by Dog Airport devs, Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator. I love the same devs did those games. Okay, Space Warlord. I'm gonna start a new page here. Okay. We got it. We got a note for it to check it out. The next game is Flynn, Son of Crimson. We played all the way to the end of this game. It's kind of good. It's a good little platformer action choppy game. It's a B tier. Flynn is a B tier. We don't need to dwell on that. Mystical Ninja, starring Goemon. This is a game we played on the N64. Devotees will recall that this one for some reason, my God, I have a janky ass way to put something from, what is it called? The three red, yellow, and white chords of like an N64 into the computer. The janky Japanese software worked on the potato computer, but didn't work on this computer. So we ended up just filming it on my phone. The Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, though, despite those bumps and kerfluffles, was fun and very quirky. And the only reason we didn't play it again is because the setup was crazy. But it's A tier. Right, it's literally just the Organ black market, but with talking dogs and sci-fi cultists. And Noodle says stock market, but organs. And Wesper says that was a great stream and a crazy ass game. We got to figure out how to play those games, because there's other N64. I'd like to come back to this one, but also there's other N64 games that I'd like to play. That we should figure out how to set that up. The next game on our list is Archvale. Archvale made no impression on me. It's C tier. I was like trying to remember what it was, and like my memories of it were mixing with Nobody Saves the World. I don't remember what we did in Archvale, man. I don't remember. It's C tier. Prototype. The most fun part was running around in the open world New York City, and we looked for landmarks that I would know because I live kind of close to New York City, and we couldn't find them. They weren't where we expect them to be always. What I don't remember. I didn't really like the combat or something. Put it at B tier, Prototype. That's probably where it belongs. I would play more Prototype, but I don't think that it is the first thing that I would play. Okay, Peglin. We played Peglin last year too. Peglin is Peggle, but with roguelike elements. That obviously is exactly my jam. It's a great game to stream. You know, you drop the ball and you chat a little bit, and you know, it's an A tier game. Peglin, love it. We've talked about it before. Hollow Knight. Another video-ass video game. Oh yeah! Prototype, definitely. Very much so. Man, that whole era, like, I don't know when it came out, but like, the late 2000s. Remo says, what is Prototype again? That reminds me of several games you played. It's from like it's probably like 2009. Let's see. 2009. Oh my god, great guess. It's an open world game. You're sort of an edgy super anti-hero. You run around and fight guys and jump on buildings and stuff. It's like one of the, like Spider-Man 2 is kind of a similar game. Oh, the one where you transform into people. Yes, that's right. I also did forget about that. That whole era, they were just making video games. My god. Prototype, some other ones. End of list. Great job. Yeah, that was a real strong time. For me, from like the GameCube through like the Wii, lots of video games. PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, that kind of era. Remember, so the idea is great, but it was just too linear and unoriginal to be good. There was, just kind of going from mission to mission, like in a, beelining over. There wasn't really enough to do in the open world that I wanted to do. The missions were kind of repetitive. The combat was kind of repetitive. I would agree with you. Idea is great, but the execution was not really there. Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's a great game. We played all the way through it, sort of. We didn't get the true ending, I guess. Or even the true ending, I don't think. For me, I had quibbles about Hollow Knight. There were parts where I was very frustrated. But for me, Hollow Knight is A tier. What do we think about this list? Is this too much stuff at A tier? Hollow Knight definitely belongs there. Is it possible that Mystical Ninja Star and Goemon is B tier? I think that it is. Is it possible that the original Outer Wilds is B tier? We'll leave it for now. You're safe for now. We're trying to maintain this bell curve in order to to I don't know, to maintain the appearance of objectivity. I don't know. Let's go to the next one. Seraph's Last Stand. So this was the one where we're the little wizard, Wizzywoo, and we run back and forth on the screen and do like a Space Invaders style game, and we get upgrades like in Vampire Survivors or something. This is also the one where at the end we had a run where we couldn't kill our guy and we had to just Alt F4 the game because we were like, this is gonna take forever. We're done playing. Seraph's Last Stand is a B tier game. If you're in the right mood, it's an awesome game to sit down and play for like 7 hours straight. Yeah, but it was fun. It's easy to get into a place where the game just goes into a very repetitive loop, though. Reglet says, I love the idea of stealing identities and memories and hiding a beast inside, but meh. Also, Space Station 13 literally has that, but good with the changeling roll. Reglet says, what you're doing is making the ranking shaped like a dick. Interesting. Unfortunately, I see it. Nuno says, remember when you went AFK in Seraph's Last Stand? I do. That was a really fun stream. We went way over time, true. Reglet says, one more in C tier, I swear. We'll see. Oh, you know what? Actually, not. I swear I didn't do this on purpose. Oh, what's the next stopping point? Okay, I know where it is. But the next one might be a C tier. This is Thea, The Awakening. This was, I don't know if people remember this. This is a game that's like Civ, kind of, but also a card game. Eastern European folklore, roguelike. It's trying to do a lot of things. I've played the game before off stream and really liked it. Bring with this, I do not remember. Yeah. It's not a great game to stream, and coming back and playing it again, I do got to bump it down to C tier. They made a sequel, which might be good. Maybe we should check that out sometime. Maybe not though, because it wasn't a great game to play on stream. But Thea the Awakening. One time, this is what I'll tell you. This is my recommendation for Thea the Awakening. When I played this not on stream, I built a structure in my little village that said it would like attract animals to my village who would join my army. It says, then again, a normal frequency distribution table looks like a bulge. True. Coincidence? I built a structure that said it would attract animals that would be like, who could fight for me and stuff. And so I'm thinking like, okay, so I'm going to build this thing. It's going to attract like a wolf, maybe a horse, a dog or something. What kind of animal is going to fight for you? And it attracted a giant bee. And I had a giant bee who I put to work chopping wood because I didn't really have anything else for him to do. So 10 out of 10, Thea the Awakening, you can get a giant bee to live in your village and chop wood for you. Monster Train. Monster Train is, I don't want to say another roguelike card game, but it's another roguelike card game. I like this one, but not enough to go back and play it again. It's a B tier. Lol, okay, sounds good. You can get a B. Ultra Kill. Ultra Kill, should I tell a personal story regarding Ultra Kill? Yeah, okay, I guess I can't really say that. Ultra Kill is I think it's the only game we've played on stream where I got to a point where I was like, I'm just not good enough at games to play this game on stream. There was a boss that we just couldn't get past, and kind of ended the stream early. Ribbon says, if you like that, Piotr, you're definitely like Space Station 13 and Dwarf Fortress. We should check out both of those games this year. We might check out Dwarf Fortress first, because it's we're probably too late. But there's some heat on it right now. But I think we'd probably miss the heat on it, huh? Because the Steam release happened weeks ago. But Ultra Kill. Ultra Kill is really fun. It's too hard, or I'm too dumb, or something. It's a B tier for me. It's probably an A tier if you love these kinds of games. If you're somebody who grew up playing Doom and stuff, you'll probably love it. For me, no good. I can't get through it. You know, it says the penis got axed. Oh no! It just has a special area here. Don't worry, it's coming back. Monster Sanctuary is next. It's weird because I'm thinking about like how we're not that far into the year right now. I don't think we're probably in like June. Maybe that's like halfway through the year. Rangbot says it will still go strong. Trust me. Monster Sanctuary is Pokemon if it was a 2D Metroidvania platformer game. I like this game a lot. I think it wasn't doing well in terms of like viewership or something. This game was pretty cool though. Let's put it at a B. Monster Sanctuary belongs at a B. If you love a game where you build a team of monsters and like optimize it a lot to try to do some really hard fights later, Monster Sanctuary you'll love it. It's great for that. If you're somebody who's really into like the stats and stuff in Pokemon and not just like collecting your favorite cute little boy, whatever, Monster Sanctuary is strong. Rainbow says, now it looks like those double dildo things. Oh, good. Oh, I'm so glad. Final Fantasy VII Remake. I was harsh on this game. Looking back, I don't think I gave this game really a fair chance. I complained about it a lot. I had a bad time in the tutorial fighting one of the bosses. Ringwet says, my mind is not right, don't worry. Okay, I'll try not to think too much about it. Final Fantasy VII Remake is it's like Scarlet Nexus, where I'm like, I kind of want to go play this game off stream and see if I like it better. For me, it's a B tier. I know that people love this game, and I know that Final Fantasy VII in general is like this huge thing that some people are super, super into. I couldn't get into it. I felt I got very overwhelmed by the combat, I think. I think that was the main thing. I don't know. I just remember not having that great a time playing it. Heroes Hour. Heroes Hour is a game I'm sure I will be surprised if you remember. It is like Heroes of Might and Magic, except there's auto battles that happen. It wasn't very good. It's going to D tier. Just did not impress, to be honest. Yeah, that's it. I'm supposed to be exactly the person that this game is for. I love the old Heroes of Might and Magic games. And like it even used like the same resources and stuff. It was really wearing its inspiration on its sleeve. The auto battling just didn't work for some reason. And not like mechanically it didn't function, but it made me feel very not invested in the dudes that I had in my army. And kind of, I don't know, it took something away rather than, I think the idea was to make Heroes of Might and Magic that would be kind of faster paced, but it really took something away. I don't really know what. Wildermyth. Ringwet says the rest of the games are like, yeah, not of note. I kind of get that. Wait, I can see one that I like, okay, at least in here. Wildermyth. Wildermyth is kind of like AI Dungeons, I think, or else somebody's just English is not their first language. But I think something is being generated by AI, a bunch of RPG content. It's a game that I felt very bewildered by. Characters said things that didn't make any sense all the time and were just very strange. There are a lot of mechanics that aren't very well explained. So like I kind of didn't know what we were doing with a lot of the stuff. Raymond says maybe it took away deep long-term strategy. Oh, the Heroes Hour thing? I kind of think so. I think that's true too. Because you just kind of dropped all your guys. And it's like melee guys going front, range guys going back. Hope for the best. What was that game again? Wildermyth was one where like they looked like cartoon characters. I'll show you. We should have had B-roll for all of these. This art style, I think, is the best reminder I can give you. But it was like a choose-your-own-adventure or like an RPG, kind of like playing Dungeons and Dragons or a different tabletop RPG, but with a computer DM. If the computer DM was an alien who didn't really understand human beings or English. Wildermyth is a C tier for me. I bet it would be really fun. You can play it multiplayer. I bet that would be an awesome way to play it. For me, it didn't do anything for me. Such Art. Such Art is a game we've played before. It is a painting simulator. What else can we say about it? It's a painting simulator. We played it once this year. I don't know. I didn't feel as inspired this year by it. Last year, I think we put it at A tier or even S tier. This year, I got to put it at B tier. I just didn't have as good. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I just came in half-cocked and didn't have good ideas for paintings or something, but I just didn't have as much fun with Such Art this year as I did last year. Speaking of games that I didn't have fun with, our next one is Bullet Witch. Bullet Witch Bullet Witch is D tier. Bullet Witch is maybe one of the worst games I've ever played that you could, at one point, you could buy for $60. But in a way, this year, this is a stream about hope. I said that earlier. This is a stream about hope. Let's look at a positive spin. Ringo says, but we drew the plop. Or wait, was that last year? I think that was last year. We did the plop. Bullet Witch inspires me because it means that anybody can make a game. You look at Bullet Witch and you say, this feels like this is terrible. There's just like nothing here. There's these big flat empty environments and somebody just dotted bad guys around randomly. There's no intentionality to it. It's just sexy witch lady, shoot, empty map, bad time, you will not have fun. And if that can go out on the market, maybe anything can. Maybe there's hope for us. Maybe someday we'll release a game as good as Bullet Witch. It's a D tier game. There's my positive spin on Bullet Witch. Rengo says, man, I never wrote the plop in Minecraft. Oh, maybe you'll have a chance. Because this actually is going to bring us, perfect transition again. This is going to bring us to our next little break in ranking. We're going to talk about our New Year's resolutions. It's the new year. It's 2023. Astoundingly. But we're here, for better or for worse. Let's talk about, hopefully the music is not stopped forever. Okay, there's the music, great. Let's talk about resolutions. We talked about things that we want to change about the channel. There's some specific things that I want to do on the channel that we should talk about. Because the retrospective was a lot about last year. And a lot about problems from last year that I want to fix. I want to talk about this year. I want to look forward. Ringo says, my New Year's resolution is to be more bi. That's honestly a good resolution. I think there's nothing, I'm going to be real with you. I think there's nothing better that you can do in the world other than to be yourself and to express yourself and to do the things that only you would do. And if being bi is part of that, then of course you should be as bi as possible. You know me. I do things I go all the way overboard when we do things. And I think everybody would be happier if they did that. Anyway, be more bi. By all means, you never needed my permission, but you have my blessing and my encouragement. I think that's a wonderful New Year's resolution. My New Year's resolution regarding this channel, things that I want to do in the new year. Okay, check it out. The first one is we need to play another. Let's make these things specific and doable. We're going to play another N64 game. That's going to mean sitting down, actually taking the time to, figure out how to do a good setup. One where I'm not filming something on my phone. we should do that and get that set up. I'd also I was home for the holidays. I brought home about a bunch of Wii games and GameCube games. It'd be fun to play those too. So just getting a setup where we could do that. Let's get a good setup. That's a New Year's resolution. We want to play an N64 game and be able to play older games generally. I think it'll open up a ton of stuff that'll be fun to play and talk about and everything else. Aringoet says, yes, that's why I'm filling the cookies with mercury. Me being quirky moment. Careful now, it's poison. And Aringoet says, but yeah, it's true. Self-expression is good. Agreed. Seriously, listen. That's secretly what this channel is all about. It's supposed to be a low-key undercurrent to everything that we're doing. But this is supposed to be a channel about expressing yourself freely and in an unabashed and uninhibited way. Anyway, play another N64 game, get a good setup. Great. Speaking of, when we did it before, we had to film it with the phone, and we had almost like an IRL setup. I think we should try some IRL streams. I don't know exactly what this would be. I don't know if this would be like playing HeroClix or something, but doing something in real life, doing something that's more hands-on. We've had kind of show and tell streams, but we didn't plan them. They just kind of happened. It's not gonna lie, I wondered it. Sorry if this is a personal question, but what's your sexuality? With apologies, Rango, I don't want to talk about that on stream. Sorry. I do want to talk about trying some IRL streams. I'm not offended by the question or anything, to be clear. But just in the interest of, I don't know, maintaining a level of distance and mysteriousness. It's not something that I want to talk about on stream. No problem. Sorry, not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. Yeah, we've done kind of show and tell streams before when we got bored playing other games, and those were actually really fun and I think very successful. Not successful in terms of, viewership or whatever, but successful in terms of we all had a good time and a good chat. So I think we should try to do that on purpose instead of switching to it as a plan B sometime. And that would be pretty fun. Okay. Try some IRL streams. Anything else that we want to do? We want to figure out a good way, the best way to do a game jam. We talked about this before. We don't need to go back into this more, but we're going to do some more game jams this year, and we're going to focus on making them a good experience and something that the community can contribute to. Very similar thing, talking of the community, is we're gonna fire up another Minecraft server. Minecraft server, that's a specific thing. The sub-item here is going to be find more games to play as a community. When I look back at the things that we did play as a community in 2022 and just even before, that like really defined the channel to me and have been important and fun and interesting to me, having the Minecraft server, having that community thing going was really fun and like feels like what we're supposed to be doing on Twitch. So we're gonna play some more games as a community, and also in general this will be we're gonna try to find more things, find more to do in the Discord. Obviously I can only stream so much in a week, and I want the Discord. I feel like there is fun conversation and stuff in the Discord right now. I think it's still an underutilized space, and something where if we can be working kind of on the channel or doing things for the channel that are sort of asynchronous, that don't need to happen as a stream, I think that's good and can kind of. It's hard to explain. The channel is not just the Twitch streams that we do, right? There's kind of the community aspect and everything else. And I want to color that in some more. And so find more to do in the Discord. This is much vaguer than the other New Year's resolutions, but that's also something that I want to do. Rango says, I need to set up Minecraft on something else sometime because my iPad died, but I did get a PC. Just got to sort out the internet on it. All right. Well, we're not gonna jump into it right away. So you got a little bit of time. I need to think about it too. I think it'd be fun to have like some kind of server-wide goals or a theme or something too. I don't want to just start a server from and just say let's go, without any kind of prompt or anything else. But we'll do a Minecraft server again. Okay, let's look at these resolutions again. Do we need anything else? Play another N64 game, get a good setup. That's a great goal. Try some IRL streams, would also be fun. Figure out the best way to do a game jam. We already talked about that. Fire up another Minecraft server and find more games to play as a community. We should do that. And find more to do in the Discord. I think these are good resolutions. Rainbow says, I heard Barotron looks like a good community game, but you need it. It looks like, you need to have Barotrauma, right. It looks like Space Station 13, but underwater, and more importantly, much smaller scale. I have Barotrauma on Steam. So I see no reason why we couldn't check that out this year. I just added it to the list. Just wrote it down. Okay, these are my resolutions. Why are they so small? Because I didn't plan this. Anything else that we need to do? Here? Any other resolutions? Oh, get good at stream. Yeah, get good at streaming. I just feel like it's been 2 years. Maybe it's time to get good at streaming. I don't know. We'll write optional. We'll see. Maybe this would be a good thing to do at some point. Great. Okay, there's our resolutions. Lock them in. Ka-chunk. Rango says, I'd play it with you if I had it, but I don't have it yet. Okay, well, we'll put a pin in that one for now then as well. Maybe there's... Put a pin in it. I don't want to say anything that I can't promise 100%. It's show business. It's show business. You're not supposed to say we can do something unless you know for 100% sure we can do it. So, I'll keep that to myself for now. Anyway, let's go back to ranking games. We got our New Year's resolution. We just rushed through those because I'm looking at the time and I know we're gonna go over time. Let's say something to conclude New Year's resolutions. Overall, this year, if I could describe my goals for this year as a single letter of the alphabet, the letter would be U. I want this stream to be more, obviously this will always be a vanity project, my God. But I want the stream to be more about the community. I want the community to be able to interact more, and that's going to be in games that we can play together, things we can do in the Discord, finding ways to make it easier and more natural and less awkward to contribute to game jams. All of these things are really my focuses for 2023. And I hope that we can do that. U for Uranus. That's exactly right. It's U for Uranus. That's where we're going. Rango says, I'm getting Deep Rock Galactic, though, which is a more popular co-op game. Oh, do I have that? Let's go. We're going to look at Steam real quick. I almost was going to type in U for Uranus. Not installed. Let's go. I do have Deep Rock Galactic. Maybe something to think about, too. I'll take a look at it. I'll take a look. Okay. I also got this just when I was doing those transitions. It reminded me. My sister and her husband gifted me for Christmas a Stream Deck thing. So we'll be able to do transitions not on the keyboard. We'll be able to have a little panel to do it from. That'll be exciting when I set it up. Raymond says I need to buy it tomorrow before the sale ends, though. These games go on sale all the time. I bet. I don't know, though. Okay, last stretch. Here are our final games. There's like 20-something games here, if I counted this out right. The Talos Principle. The Talos Principle is a lot like Myst or Abduction, but more kind of literal, I guess, more straight to the point of just like, do a puzzle. It's not kind of organic to the world, the puzzles. I'm gonna put it in an A. I really like Talos Principle. We played all the way through. It's an A for me. Did we play all the way through? We must have played all the way through. I didn't really get into the story. I changed the narrator or whoever to Polish language because I found him distracting. But overall, yeah, more pure puzzles than immersive puzzles, definitely. It's between a B and an A for me. I'll put it an A, just based on my personal enjoyment. Next game is No Man's Sky. This is a game about it's flying around in space. No Man's Sky for me doesn't really work. I'll be real with you. It's a game where like the story of the game is kind of always pulling you along to leave everything you're doing behind, but all the interesting stuff you would do is like staying in one place. So it's like you could build up a cool base on this planet, but you got to go to the next planet. And like when you go to the next planet, you start to realize that all of the planets are kind of the same, or more accurately that there's like 3 or 4 kinds of planets, and every planet is one of those. And it didn't work for me. I got to put No Man's Sky to C. I know some people, if somebody says this is their favorite game and they play it all the time, I actually would get that. I think some people would love No Man's Sky. It wasn't for me. Rainbow says the story is weird, it seems. This is, I think, in Talos Principle. I first found the game saying why the story was good, and it was constantly like, you think it's about this, but it actually wasn't, and it was really about this? Oh, so maybe we just got the most literal idea of what Talos Principle was. Capybara Spa. I love capybaras. Capybara Spa is, listen, there's not a lot to it. It's a simple game. There are cute capybaras. It's a C tier. I love the game, but we gotta be real. The C is for capybara, and also for this game's rank. XCOM 2. XCOM 2 is an excellent game. I can see that. I was not prepared to learn how to play this game on stream. It's A tier. I had a good time playing it, but I was like, I can't figure this out on stream. Maybe this is one that I should go to off stream and learn to play a little bit, and then we could have good streams of it. But I was just struggling so much to learn all the mechanics and stuff that it wasn't really a very streamable game, which is not really, I don't know. That's a pretty weak criticism. That's why it gets to be A tier. Great. Neon White. Neon White was a cool idea, but I don't remember if I got salty or I just wasn't having a very good time. We stopped playing Neon White though. This is when we first looked at the Sonic fan wiki instead of playing Neon White, or intermixed with it or something. But there was a lot of being bored by it, or getting tired of it or something. So it's a C tier game. I know some people really love this game. If you really love speed running and stuff, this game is for you. It's not for me. I was going to put a little cube here, a little square rather, for the Sonic fan wiki. I didn't in the end because I didn't know what image to use, but if the Sonic fan wiki was here, it would be S tier. This year we read the Sonic fan wiki and we also contributed to it, and that was a lot of fun coming up with some crazy Sonic characters. So that would be S tier, except that it's not here. Raymond says Talos Principle is about our view of God, but oh no, it actually wasn't. It's about sentience, but oh no, it actually wasn't. It's about life and death or something. That was the video, what I remember, lol. So many twists. God, it's crazy how few games we played at the end of the year. Because, like, this is, like, the whole last quarter of the year we're looking at here. Anyway, Pizza Titan Ultra is a game about being a giant robot running around the city delivering pizzas. It's a great concept. It's very repetitive gameplay, though. It's a C. Regan says, watching get destroyed by the Viper King was really heartbreaking, but funny. Not gonna lie. LPL, lol, funny lol. Who is the Viper King? Is that in Neon White? Viper King. Let's see. Oh, in XCOM. Yeah. No, I got trashed by the Viper King repeatedly, if I remember. Yeah, I want to be able to fight him. I want to be able to get in and do something. Shotgun King is a roguelike game where you kind of play chess, but not really. It's B tier. I had a good time playing Shotgun King. There wasn't a lot to it. I don't know how much it costs. Maybe it's something you would want to get on sale. I don't know that I would pay more than like $5 for it, but it would be, if you paid $5 for Shotgun King, that would be money well spent. That's what I would say. Stereo Boy. It got cropped, but this is supposed to say Stereo Boy. That's embarrassing. Stereo Boy is a cool little puzzle game. I was kind of getting into the story and lore and stuff. I know just earlier on the stream I complained that I don't like to read a lot of text in games. And the story was pretty much all delivered by text. But it was, I don't know, maybe it was more concise or something. I was kind of getting into it. It's a puzzle game through and through. You're switching between different worlds where the kind of layout of the map is a little bit different. Stereo Boy is a B for me. Rengo says, yeah, I love that you died twice to it, but in fairness, the game kind of screws you over by having only one frost grenade you can permanently lose, which is dumb. That's true, we did lose the really good item. Ugh. Today, in more roguelike card games, we have Black Book. Black Book is a lot like Slay the Spire, but you also play a little Slavic adventure. Slavic mythology adventure. I gotta be real. The theme and the like setting really got me into this game. I was like super into like the characters and the way that the magic worked and stuff, but the gameplay just wasn't really there. There wasn't enough to it, honestly. It's a C tier game. We made a goal to help our friend Nikolai get married in Black Book. We got him married, and then we got out, and I think that was the right way to play that game. Ringo says the Viper King was part of the hardest DLC, which just adds 3 boss enemies, and Viper King is a joke compared to the other 2. Oh my god, okay, so that's good to know. Good to know that he's not even the hardest guy. The second one is a melee baddie who rushes you and can knock your guys out with AoE moves. I don't like that. I don't like the possibility of multiple guys getting knocked out by a single move. Okay, Spellcaster University. This game, man, some people will not like this game because it's not very polished. The UI is a little goofy and the graphics are not stellar. But Spellcaster University, this is the game where you build your little Harry Potter school in kind of a simulator. I had a lot of fun playing this game. For me, there's a lot of ones where I've been like, I know this game is good, but for me, it's like a lower tier. This is one where I'm like, I know this game is not as good as I think it is, but for me, it's an A tier. I had a lot of fun playing Spellcaster University. It's cool to build different kinds of schools. I like the way the different maps that you play in have different kind of challenges and different goals that you have to complete, which change the way that you build up your little castle. Spellcaster University is good. The dungeon delving stuff is a little weird and feels like it belongs in another game, but it's fun. It's fun. Ringo says in the final one, this final boss in XCOM 2, lives up to it with a guy that is flying, so has a permanent dodge buff, shoots at you, has a melee, can attempt to kidnap your guys in the sky, and you gotta shoot him? I don't like it. I don't like it. What have we got next here? We're in the home stretch. Look, we've only just got like 10 maybe left. Cake King's Rent Fiesta 2. This is another Game Jam game we made, so by default we'll put it at S tier. Last year we made Cake King's Rent Fiesta 1. This year we made Cake King's Rent Fiesta 2. It was bigger and more refined in every way. Didn't win a contest. Was probably disliked by other people in the Game Jam who played it. But I think all in all, a very successful sequel. Put that on the back of the box. A very successful sequel. Cake King's Rent Fiesta 2. And also the best executed game jam we had. in terms of like being the best kind of content, being the best at getting community input and stuff into it. It was like the smoothest running game jam that we did. Okay, speaking of game jams, so this was a crazy thing. We didn't play any games in September. We didn't play any games in September, I don't think. We just made Cake King's Rent Fiesta 2. Then we made another game, The Harvest Curse. The Harvest Curse is another game that we made. It was meant to be a little arcade game. This time we really focused on like polishing the game and making something that is small but well presented, has music, has particle effects and stuff. We did much better in the game jam as a result. But it's not my favorite game we made. I'll be real. It's cool. I think if I wanted to show somebody a game that we made on stream, that would probably be a good one because it's very easy to get the point across. But it's every parent loves one of their children a little bit less, and I love the Harvest Curse a little bit less, and that's just the way that it is. Ringo says, and worst of all, so normal enemy, the normal enemy he's a version of has a move where they shoot missiles up in the sky and you gotta move from the area to avoid them. Okay, I can imagine that. It's not a very deadly move, but because of how Monarch moves work, one guy and it's boom straight away. I don't like that. I want that chance to move away. In October, we played Resident Evil Revelations 2. I actually am glad that we played this because A, it was pretty good, but B, I like establishing little traditions on our channel. And Resident Evil Revelations 2, we played Revelations 1 last October, we played Revelations 2 this October. Revelations 2, a much better game. I was really very pleasantly surprised. The story is not much better, but the gameplay was just way less basic. And I'm blown away that this was a game on the 3DS. It's A tier. Resident Evil Revelations 2, you did it. Are you A tier? You're A tier. Leave it there. AI Dungeons. AI Dungeons, speaking of traditions, last year we did a little AI Dungeon stream. This year we did another one. IMO, less successful stream. Less of a good story coming out of AI Dungeon this time. Maybe, I don't really know what to chalk that up to. I had a less good time with AI Dungeon though. I gotta put it a C or a B tier? Oh, put it a C tier. I don't know. I really felt let down by AI Dungeon this year. Maybe it was me. Maybe I wasn't giving as good prompts. Maybe my expectations were too high or something. But no, AI Dungeon C tier. Sorry, I gotta do it. Regan says, also Viper King mainly uses status effect stuff like ice bombs and tum grabs than actually attacking, and their aim is bad. Ah, that's good to know. Regan says, IDKY was too boring. Yeah, or why it was so boring. I honestly agree. It just didn't go as well. Maybe it's too literal from training. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just there's just not the same novelty that there was when we did it the year before. But yeah, for me, AI Dungeon is a C tier. I want to keep doing choose your own adventure stuff. We might shop around a little bit and see if there's a better way to do this than through AI Dungeon. Frog Detective 3! Okay, listen. Early on in the history of this channel, we played Frog Detective 1 and 2 on two, I think, back-to-back weekends. And then we had to wait for like 2 years. Not really. More like a year and a half for Frog Detective 3 to come out. And it finally did, and it lived up to the hype. A tier for Frog Detective 3. Play the Frog Detective games. They're great. I love them. The developer is very cool too. Her Twitter is hilarious. Frog Detective 3. Rogat says, it feels too good now. Before it was more unhinged. AI Dungeon. I think that might be it, honestly. We also played this year. We're so close now, y'all. We played Zumbinis. The Logical Journey of the Zumbinis is a game that I played in the computer lab in my school growing up. We came back. So here's the deal. I'm going to put Zumbinis at S tier. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Peter, this is not an S tier game. But listen, I played Zumbini like, was it more than 20 years ago, probably, right? Of the games on this list, how many of these will still be as playable and still look as good and like be as well presented and interesting as Zumbinis 20 years from now? This game has really stood the test of time. And I know that we did like, I think it was a brush up or a remake or something, but like the game is pretty much the same as it was, and it's still good. And it's a kid's game that you could play in school in the computer lab. Zumbini's S tier. I know we didn't finish the game because it's the same thing over and over at a certain point, but Zumbini's is S tier, that's where it belongs and that's where it will remain. Speaking of games that aren't good, Ringo says the funny thing is if you play the Monarch DLC next to the other big DLC that has bosses, they're just normal enemy moves. Granted, they get 2 or 3 extra moves, but they're jokes in comparison. Nice. So the Monarch one is when the really hard bosses come in. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Disintegration. This is a game that... Okay. We're trying to be optimistic. This is a year of hope. I was really let down by Disintegration, though. When this game originally came out, I bought this game for full price when it came out. This is a true story. And didn't play it. And returned it. And then bought it again on sale. But I really wanted to play it when it came out. And it's just not good. It's just not. It's supposed to be between a real-time strategy game and a first-person shooter. And man, it's a bad real-time strategy game and it's a bad first-person shooter. Very disappointing. D tier for Disintegration. But this is a year of hope. I think we should try to remake or demake Disintegration. Maybe in a game jam sometime. I think it would be funny to take the same idea of like having a shooting game and a real-time strategy game, but do it in 2D as like a shoot 'em up or something to think about. Just an idea to put on the back burner. What I'm trying to say is Disintegration disappointed me, but it also inspired me. And that's why it's still a D tier. The debutante says, why is S red and D green? I don't know. We commented on that at the beginning of the stream. It seems backwards. Maybe it's like heating up. And so red is like the hot S tier games, and green is like the cold green beans of games. But I don't know. I'm really not sure. And Wazir says, Zumbinis also had a puzzle tier list, which was good content. Oh, true! That's right, we did rank all the puzzles. And Regan says that the other bosses are bigger, part of a bigger scale DLC and implemented well. They start at the back doing stuff like someone exploding zombies and or summoning exploding zombies and targeting your guy with a sniper. So they got to move, then you properly fight them back. Fight them at the back. I see. So they don't kind of get in the mix of it right away. 2 more games. We're so close. BioShock is the game that we're playing right now. We're gonna play it this week. I think on Wednesday is the plan. Debutante says, dogs are colorblind anyway. Acceptable. All the same. To all my dog viewers, it doesn't matter. These are all the same color. And actually, we have something that's perfect for a colorblind player coming up. BioShock, we're in the middle of it right now. I gotta be real with you. At the moment, BioShock is like at a B tier for me. People really like this game. I think there's a lot of cool, like, emergent gameplay stuff going on in BioShock. Where, like... Excuse me, I can see that it's like, oh, we just put all these guys who interact with each other in interesting ways loose in this world. And, like, that's kind of cool, but, like, the moral choice is not very interesting. There's a lot of the hacking minigame, which I'm really not that into. But the BioShock's at a B. BioShock's at a B. B for BioShock. Perfect. Rengo says, they definitely are not like the Monarchs, though, but I'll not forget the one time one mind controlled my grenadier and I could not get there quick enough to kill all his health. Oh no! One last one. This is our game for colorblind people or dogs. Is that rude to say? Probably. This is Sweetway Snooping and Tailing Co., which was a phrase that I wanted to get into the game somewhere. I wanted there to be a sign that said like Sweetway Snooping and Tailing Company, but I couldn't fit it in, so we made it the title of the game. This is a game that we made in a game jam over 30 days. It's all in black and white. The aspect ratio is the same aspect ratio as the Maltese Falcon. That's a fun fact. It's a detective adventure. You're a rat detective. It's somewhere between a Metroidvania and an adventure game. It was a lot of fun to make, but for me, a bit of a disappointment. I think, why is it a bit of a disappointment? Because there's a lot about it that I want to go and tighten up. We've done that a few times. We went to Cake King's Rent Fiesta 2 and fixed some things up. We went to the Elemental Bastille. We went back after the game jam and fixed some things up. Sweetway, I want to do it, but there's so many, like, especially parts in the code and even the level design and stuff that are just like sketched out. So where it's like we sketched it out so you could get the idea across to people, but like you can't use that sketch. There are parts of it that basically need to be rebuilt from scratch almost. Like all the movement needs to be totally redone. The hit detection needs to all be totally redone because people are jumping through walls and stuff. Check out Sweetway Snooping and Tailing Co. It's a game we made this year. I really like it. I like that we did something, you know, we set some ambitious goals for the project, and I think that we met them. To meet those goals, we had to make some compromises that make it kind of hard to go back to this one, though. But that's okay. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just blaze forward and leave that just the way it is. I don't know yet. Man, oh man, look at it. These are all the games we played in 2022. We got some S tier games, we got some A tier games, B tier, C tier, all the way down to D tier. I'm only kind of glancing at this, but I'm pretty satisfied with what we got here. Rangwat says, did I ever tell you the story about the horrible friendship death I had in XCOM 2? One DLC lets you make bonds between soldiers and stuff, and one time a bond had their buddy mind controlled, and they were in Overwatch and shot their buddy dead, causing them to go on a rampage, taking 3 guys, shooting the guy who mind controlled without my input. Rangwat says, Alien Airport, shaking my head. Listen, it's not a good game. Do I have anything else on my little order of show thing here? Let me see. If we plan to do anything else, let me just loudly rustle through this piece of paper. It just says wrap up. Okay, let's wrap up. 2023 is a new year. I think that a new year, we should have a toast. We should have a toast to the new year. So let's do it. Let's toast the new year and look forward to 2023 and all of the joys and hope and wonderfulness that it can bring us. Should be a pretty good one, I think. I'm only gonna have a little bit of this. Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you so much for watching the channel. I hope it continues to be good and enjoyable and everything else. Unwiser says, is that the infamous wine? I don't know. Oh, that's the worst thing I ever tasted in my life. If you watched any of this live tonight, thank you so much for watching live. And if you watch this as a it's so bad, I might throw up. If you watch this as a recording or on YouTube, thank you so much for watching that way too. Hope to see you all in the next year. Until next time, I will see you later.